to Life Love Etc., a show that covers all aspects of life, relationship, and success. And I'm your host, Anna Elton. We have a special guest today. She is Cara O'Donnell. She is Miss Massachusetts. I'm sorry, I'm into Mrs. Pageantry, so like she's Miss Massachusetts, and she's the chronic illness advocate, right? And she
Yes.
is the survivor herself. So welcome, Cara.
Thank you, Anna. I'm really glad to be here. I come to this as both a healthcare advocate and someone who's lived with chronic illness. And that experience changed how I understand care, less as a system and more as a human experience.
Amazing. So before we go into the deep stuff, let's talk about pageantry. I see the crown, I see the sash, and I know we just had Mrs. World, and I'm sure you're watching. If you can tell me about your experience at the pageantry, like how you started pageantry, and then like what do you think about the whole system?
Yes, so I started pageants when I was 14 years old. I competed in the USA system, the National American Miss system, even the America system, and recently the Miss for America system, which is the Miss division of the Mrs. America organization that falls under Mrs. World. So I had the opportunity of competing for Massachusetts, representing my home state, and I was able to place in the top 15 in the country, and that was in August.
Amazing. So I was watching that as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is not your first time, right, at pageantry? Like, so how did you start at pageants? Why? What's the goal? What's the mission?
Yes. So I really wanted to gain confidence as a teen. I was very shy and I wanted to step outside of my shell. Also, the interview aspect was really interesting to me, and I thought it could help build my professionalism. And it certainly has helped me throughout the years. And now I use what I've learned through pageantry in my professional career in healthcare as well.
That's amazing. And through this journey, like, is there anything that you learned, something that okay, so I'm just checking the sound, so if you can get closer to the mic so we have a better sound. So in this journey in pageantry, is there something that you learned, something that you did not expect? I guess your biggest challenges, and then
I learned just recently that it's best to show up as your authentic self and who you are and what you stand for and what you've learned through life, and bring those experiences to the stage and to the table. You can't look around and compare yourself from the girl to your left and right. You have to own what's inside and truly bring that energy to the stage in the interview room, and that's when you truly shine.
And I know it's easier said than done, right? When you're thinking like, okay, goddess, like I'm prepared, right? Everything, as I have 3 kids and all boys, right? And then they have this joke, I got the shoes, I got the dress, I'm turning into a princess, right? So you feel good, you feel prepared, and then you come and you see all these beautiful girls, right? They're all accomplished, they're all there for a reason, right? And so what happens? Like, is it at any point you feel like less than, or do you feel less confident, or you remember that you're there for a reason and you have something to share?
I feel like when I first started, I would get intimidated, but over the years and what I've gone through in my life, I've learned to own that and own who I am and know that that's what makes me beautiful on the inside. And I think that's what helps me shine on the outside. It's all in your aura.
Awesome. I love that. So what is your favorite part of the pageant? I know the difficult one could be interview, right? Could be on stage, but what's your favorite one?
My favorite part is interview because I get to tell the judges my why. And that's how I've turned my pain into purpose. And I've been able to turn those difficult experiences as a patient into a professional career as a project healthcare IT portfolio manager at Mass General Brigham, which is the largest healthcare system in the Northeast. And I was able to bring that energy and experience to the interview room and share with the judges why I want to make meaningful change in healthcare and with the patient in mind always.
Amazing. So what's next for you? So this year, like, is there anything that you're looking forward, excited in Miss Massachusetts world, or like anything professional?
Yes. So I am training for the Berlin Marathon in Berlin, Germany this September. I'm actually raising funds and awareness for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. So for the very disease that took my entire large intestine away, I am running 26.2 miles again for Team Challenge, and I am so, so excited. I'm also planning to compete for the title of Miss Massachusetts USA again, and we don't have a date for that yet, but I'll be training and planning for those two things, and I am looking forward to them.
That's amazing. So Berlin, why Berlin?
It's one of the 6 Avid World Majors. I've done Chicago, the Chicago Marathon, 4-team challenge as well. So Berlin is up next, and we'll see where else I go. I think it's Tokyo, Berlin, Chicago, Boston, which is my hometown. That's definitely top of the list.
So when do you think you can do the Boston Marathon? Not this year, right? Is it next?
Not this year. It's very difficult to get a bib because I wouldn't qualify, and it's very competitive. But I would probably run for charity. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation does not currently have bibs for the Boston Marathon, and maybe that's something we can change. I hope that's something that we can change, but I would love to raise funds and awareness for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and run the Boston Marathon in my hometown.
That's so interesting. So what do you need to qualify, and then how do you prepare for the marathon?
That is a wonderful question. It's been a few years. So the last time I ran a full marathon was in 2022. I actually trained for it twice. In 2018, I was training for the Chicago Marathon, and 1 month prior to race day, that's when I found out that I was going to need total colectomy surgery, followed by 2 other major surgeries. So as I was training for a team challenge, raising funds and awareness, I had to, lo and behold, have my entire large intestine removed. So trained for it twice, and now I'll be back in 2026, 4 years later, training again, and I have to go through the whole base training process as well as the training program with our national team. And we have our wonderful coaches who are there to support and guide us every week of these daunting, exhausting training sessions. I'll be doing it all pretty much virtually because we're across the country, our team members, and it's going to be quite the experience. It's going to help me prep for the pageant as well.
That's a big commitment. Wow. So with, I guess, marathons, pageants, is it something that like you're crossing off your bucket list, or kind of what's happening? Is there like something else, on your bucket list, something outside of your comfort zone?
I think they go hand in hand. I'm all alignment and purpose. The marathons are meaningful to me because I'm raising funds for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and the same thing with the pageants. It all aligns, and as well with my professional career. I am focused on helping patients have a better experience and journey, hopefully to make improvements in areas where I've experienced, where I've had, I'd say we could make some better improvements just based off of some of my not so great experiences. And that's why I'm using this platform as Miss Massachusetts for America Strong, as well as training for the marathon.
I apologize, my camera went off. I had some problems today, so we'll see. Let me, I guess, leave and come back. So I will be right back. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. I guess we have all the challenges, tech challenges today, so I will be right back. Okay, let's see. I think I'm back. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I was, kicking the cord from my camera, and I guess with technology, you need to be careful, right? So I'm not gonna touch anything. So hopefully that's it. We're not gonna have any more problems, but let's continue. So I guess now we'll dive into the more challenging parts of this conversation, right? Chronic illness. It's something that we don't choose, right? That is something that we have to just face and deal with. So what happened? Like, at what age were you diagnosed, and what was your journey with that?
So I was diagnosed at the age of 19, and this is after years of complaining to my PCP that I was experiencing stomach issues. I didn't visit a gastroenterologist until the age of 18 when I was finally referred. And the gastroenterologist, because of what I was explaining, did not really think that I had IBD. It wasn't until a colonoscopy was performed that we determined I did have ulcerative colitis. And from then, it started off as a mild to moderate case and very quickly turned into a moderate to very severe case that resulted in multiple hospitalizations, surgeries. It was quite a process, especially being in school, in college, working part-time, trying to maintain a social life. There have been a lot of challenges along the way, so it has not been easy.
Wow. So just for our viewers, just to have a little psychoeducation. So is something that is biological predisposition? Does it run in the family, or it's something that can just happen? So can you tell us a little bit more?
So there is a genetic component, but there are also environmental triggers. We don't really know precisely what causes it, but there are multiple factors.
And if you have symptoms, like what are some of the symptoms? Is it something that has mild symptoms, or usually it starts pretty strong and then it just proceeds continuously?
What was a clear indication that something was very wrong was the loss of an extreme amount of blood and fatigue and weight loss. That is what warranted, okay, it's time to be hospitalized. You may be in need of a blood transfusion. This is getting very concerning. It's not just a stomach ache. It's so much more. There's a lot that goes into it, and it differs patient to patient.
Mm-hmm. And so when you start first experiencing and advocating for your needs, and then I guess no one took you seriously, right? Because you're young, healthy, you should be fine. And the reason why I'm asking this because I didn't have the same thing, but I had similar experience. So when I was 16, I started having headaches, right? And then they would come and go, and then I started feeling nauseous, and again it will last for a few days, and then I'll tell my mom, and then we'll go to the doctor, and the doctor would say like, no, you're fine, just take some Tylenol, you're fine, you're 16. And then at some point, I was working in the store as a cashier, first job, and I went to work. I didn't feel well, but I still went because I was 16, and I just wanted to make sure that I do the best job, and I couldn't call out. So when I came there, I passed out. And then when they took me to the hospital, they did all this X-rays and all the tests, and then they told me that I have a brain tumor and that I only have a few days to live. That's really bad. It's really large, and I need emergency surgery because I started losing vision. And again, like I was trying not to complain because I already told my piece, and everyone said that I am fine. So that's when they transferred me to Mass General Hospital in Boston, and I had my surgery the next day. So it was all quick. It happened really sudden, so I didn't really have time to prepare, realize what's happening, and then the next thing I after the surgery, right, trying to recover. So it actually happened really quickly. So I had some symptoms, but then from here, like I always advocate, and I always, tell my clients, I'm a therapist, right? If there's anything, please advocate for your needs, right? To listen to your body, and then just to make sure you check everything. So in your case, what was the journey?
The journey was, and thank you for sharing that. I hear you, and you are so strong and brave. And it's very challenging to be blindsided with something so devastating, such as having to go into major surgery as a young adult. And there are so many challenges that go into that. I'd say before illness, I equated care with independence and achievement. I was always moving forward, school, social life, travel. After my diagnosis and multiple surgeries, I became aware that I needed to slow down and allow others in. I had to unlearn the idea that needing care meant weakness, which was very difficult. And I think it still is difficult for me today.
Yeah, I think it's a bit hard, right? Because some people, they just have really hard time accepting help. Not even asking for help, but accepting help. So do you feel like you changed your idea of accepting help, or it's still something that you struggle every week?
It is something I think I still struggle with because you're not just explaining symptoms, you're explaining unpredictability. And that unpredictability can be difficult as the patient themselves. So you're constantly translating your experience so people understand that even if you look okay, your body may not be. And that's also difficult to distinguish as an independent woman who likes to push through and says she's okay. That emotional labor in itself can be heavier than the illness sometimes.
Yeah, that's really challenging. And I definitely heard similar stories from my clients where, if you have chronic illness and you're young and look healthy, right, it's hard to explain to others that you're not feeling well, right? And then unless you have like visible issues, right, if you have broken bones, right, obviously you will get that support and care from other people and empathy. But then, like, if you don't have any physical symptoms, right, it's hard to explain.
Yes.
And so this journey, how do you think it affected other relationships in your life? Romantic relationships, friendships, family, in any positive, negative way?
It definitely shifted dynamics. I felt guilty needing support and the fear of becoming a burden. I was in, unfortunately, I recently left an abusive marriage. I was with someone for 9 years and it was not healthy and it didn't help with my symptoms or mental or physical health. I think some relationships deepened through my experience, but others really struggled. Chronic illness has a way of revealing who can sit with uncertainty and who needs things to be simple and to the point and can't handle the depth and difficult times.
So with chronic illness, with your condition, so what's next? Is it something that requires care long term, or it's something that can improve soon? So what happens?
So it is lifelong. Since the removal of my large intestine, I have been so much better. My quality of life has improved substantially, and I think it was a life-changing surgery. And that's why I am so grateful for my care team and surgeons, surgical team at Mass General Brigham. And that's why I wanted to work for the same organization that gave me my life back. So that's what I'm talking about when I say I'm turning that pain into purpose. It was such a monumental, it was devastating, and it was really difficult to go through as a 22-year-old. But since then, my quality of life has substantially improved. And most of the time, I don't even realize that I have ulcerative colitis and I can live a pretty normal life.
That's amazing. So I'm glad to hear you're doing so much better, right? And you're being so strong and you're pushing through and you're enjoying life and making the best of it, right? Especially giving back. So, through this experience, is there any advice you could give to patients who are going through chronic illness for taking care of them? What do you think was important that you learned?
I've learned that care isn't something you earn by being easy. it's something that exists within healthy relationships, and letting people show up for you doesn't take away from your independence or strength. It honors connection, and it is a way to connect with people when you open up about it, and you're not alone.
Thank you. And so, if you're struggling with accepting that help, is there any advice? What can we do to make this experience a little bit easier?
To make it easier, I think it's not about having all the right answers. It's about staying present and asking instead of assuming. And that goes both ways, with your providers, with yourself, with your friends, with your family, in romantic relationships. Attention over time matters far more than grand gestures. Just staying present with one another, and of course asking instead of assuming. I think that's number one.
Oh my goodness, I was there. Manon, we have all the difficulties here, so I'll do this again. I know how it's working out. I'll be right back. Podcast ever. So, but I guess it's always the first time, and we're doing this together, so we're overcoming the challenges. So, but it's really interesting. I'm just thinking, like, for some people, this is a new experience, accepting help or asking for help. As a therapist, I'm teaching my clients one technique, which is really, really interesting. So, the name is Name It to Tame It. It was originally introduced by Dr. Daniel Siegel, and he talked about identifying your emotions, right? So whenever you have a big emotion, let's say you feel frustrated, right, you feel anxious, you feel stressed, you say it out loud. And then when you say it out loud, it actually makes it real. And once you say it, you need to do something about it. So you say, like, I'm feeling stressed out. So instead of keeping it inside, now you said it, I'm stressed out. So now we need to do something about it. So what do you usually do when you feel stressed out? Maybe I need to go to the gym. Maybe I need to take a nap. Maybe I need to eat something, right? Maybe I need to talk to someone. But this is where, like, you're able to identify your emotion, say it out loud, and actually take care of yourself. But also it helps your loved ones. Is it your partner? Is it your family member? Once you said it, they can, instead of assuming that you're upset at them or like something's going on, they can actually have a chance to ask you, is there anything I can do for you? Right? And
I really like that.
and this is your chance to actually accept the help, right? And have this collaborative communication and connection with your family member. So as you were talking, I was just thinking about this technique. And I know for some people it's easier said than done. For others, they still working on identifying and differentiating emotion, because I feel like for men, especially in our society, they only have two emotions. They either okay or angry. And when I have male clients, they come in and we talk about all this, spectrum of emotions. And then when you show anger, when you express anger, when you appear angry, maybe it's not anger at all. Maybe it's frustration with yourself, disappointment. Maybe it's sadness, right? And maybe it's stress or anything else, right? But then it appears as anger. And then when you're able to differentiate, say it, and actually act on it. So that's the strategy. So as we're start wrapping up, is there any final piece of advice that you can offer our viewers? Is there anything that they can learn or like look out for, or something that you feel like was super helpful for you?
I think that care often lives in the smallest moments, the ones that we don't think count, but never forget.
I love that. The smallest moments that we don't count but never forget. So thank you. If anyone wants to reach out, want to follow you, want to cheer you on your next adventure, and Miss, no, Miss, yeah. Say again, Mrs. Miss Massachusetts USA. where can they find your journey?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Cara Beth O'Donnell or find me on LinkedIn under Cara O'Donnell.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for going through all the technical difficulties. It is what it is. We made it through, right?
Yes.
Made us stronger, hopefully. And thank you once again for all your wisdom and strength. You're amazing.
Thank you, Dr. Anna.
Thank you. Thank you for
Take
watching
care.
us, and we will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Have a great night.
Thank you.